So look at this. Pfizer executives have discussed hiking the vaccine price after the pandemic wanes. They basically were caught saying that the pandemic is not going to end. It's going to turn endemic. And when it turns endemic, they're going to make a boatload of money off that vaccine that they made. That is what they were caught saying here. Let me just read you the story, and then we're going to go into the implications of this, because one big question I think many of us should have is, then what the hell is the vaccine? I mean, did you create it with the intention to end COVID, or did you create it with the intention to stall so that you could continue to make more and have it not really cure anything, but just kind of subside some things? And then, like, what is this? What are we doing here? So it says a top executive for Pfizer suggested to investors last week that pricing for its COVID-19 vaccine could increase post-pandemic. So not only are they excited that COVID is going to continue on and on and on forever. That's what endemic is, forever. It'll be here forever. Though they're saying they're going to actually hike up the price of the vaccine. The suggestion raises questions about whether a drug developed at the behest of the federal government to respond to a global crisis could turn a profit for one company. The possibility was raised by Carter Lewis Gold, a senior analyst for biopharma equity research at Barclays during a virtual global healthcare conference hosted by the bank. Gold, referencing comments made by Pfizer executives over the summer, asked how the pharmaceutical company still envisioned pursuing higher pricing as we move from a pandemic to an endemic phase, according to an edited transcript of the conversation. It says, quote, clearly got a lot of focus on the street, and in particular, some of your comments around the potential for higher pricing. Gold said of Pfizer's summer suggestion. I think one of the things that people point to is both the optics of that as well as some of their experience with the flu market. Now, this is absolutely different, but I was hoping you could maybe give us a little bit more depth on your thoughts here and around the potential to pursue higher pricing down the road. So what are you thinking about, pursuing higher prices down the road? Let's hear from you. So in response, Frank A. Diamolo, CFO and Executive VP of Global Supply for Pfizer, said the company anticipates a, quote, significant opportunity for its vaccine from, quote, a pricing perspective as we move, quote, from a pandemic situation to an endemic situation. He says, quote, so if you look at how current demand and current pricing is being driven, it's clearly not being driven by what I'll call normal market conditions, normal market forces. It's really being driven by kind of the pandemic state that we've been in and the needs of governments to really secure doses from the various vaccine suppliers, Diamolo explained. So what I believe, as we move from a pandemic state, from a pandemic situation to an endemic situation, normal market forces, normal market conditions will start to kick in. And factors like efficiency, booster ability, clinical utility will basically become very important. And we view that as, quite frankly, a significant opportunity for our vaccine from a demand perspective, from a pricing perspective, given the clinical profile of our vaccine, he said. So clearly more to come here. But we think as this shifts from pandemic to endemic, we think there's an opportunity here for us. So that is what the Pfizer executive said, and this raises a lot of questions. The first question is, did they ever really think they were going to be curing the disease? Or were they thinking that they were instead going to just continue, maybe they could mitigate the disease a little bit, and then they could then, rather than cure it, maybe they could have come up with a vaccine, maybe, and that would be the real scandal, right? If we found out that later on that all of these big pharma companies that we put so much trust into, we put so much trust into the big pharma companies, big mistake, by the way. Especially all of these anti-establishment progressives for years going after big pharma, saying that they were just
Shalom, shalom. Kal halayim la Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Chakudash. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, my teachers. Salutations to the believers, the Akim and the Aqua, that patiently wait on the second return of our Lord Yahawashi. This is the book of Job, chapter 13, and verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. 10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find a precious substance, we shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us, let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. You see, it's all vanity. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 7, and verse 16. Salakia. The book of Psalms 7, and verse 14. Behold, he travelleth with iniquity, and has conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. I will praise the Lord according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High. All right. So his mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. Let's go back to the book of Proverbs, chapter 26 and verse 27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. It's the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 3. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. This is the book of Mark, chapter 4 and verse 22. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 1. Woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredom of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, and verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Going back to the book of Nahum 3, and verse 19, and it reads, 18, thy shepherds slumber, O kings of Assyria, right? Their shepherds slumber, their wisdom is gone. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust, in confusion. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. There is no healing of thy bruise, thy wound is grievous. All that hear the brood of thee shall clap the hands over thee, for upon whom hath not thy wickedness passed continually? Con. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Hakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the believers. We're almost home. Shalom.